Today, I'm going to talk about how one of my ex-girlfriends got me to the next level in life. I was so grateful. I dedicated my book to her. Here we go. So, once upon a time, back in the day, this was in 2007. So I had an ex-girlfriend and we had just broken up. And she said, if you want to get to the next level in life, you're going to have to watch this DVD. And it was The Secret DVD by Rhonda Byrne. And she gave me the DVD, right? And I was like, yeah, okay. I put it in my top drawer under my socks. And, I was happy with my life, okay? Everything looked successful. Everything felt successful. My companies were we had just built another company. We had just worked on a record company. We had revamped our production company. We were just kind of, going along. Things were kind of good, right? So I didn't want to change my life. I loved my life the way it was. And I did not see that, okay, this could be better. Like this, could be a better life, right? So anyway, a year later, I left it in my drawer for 1 year. And a year later, I go back, right? And I'm looking for something in my socks drawer, right? The top drawer. And I'm looking for something, and I see this DVD, right? The Secret by Rhonda Byrne, right? And I go, okay, because my girlfriend gave it to me, and I guess because it was her, she was my ex at that time, and I guess because it was her, I just said, nah, never mind, I put it in my drawer. So I took it out and I looked at it, and I go, well, maybe you should watch this. Like maybe, yeah, I'll watch it, and then I'll throw it away, right? So I put it in my DVD player, right? My television had a built-in DVD player, and I put it in the DVD player, and I started watching. And everything that my uncle tried to teach me at 13, okay? Because, when you take in information, it stays in your subconscious, okay? And I call it the back filing cabinet. So it stayed in my subconscious, so I had to listen, it was my uncle talking, so I had to listen to him. So everything that I acquired, everything that I absorbed, everything that I listened to was still there, right? But it was in the back. It was like, it wasn't being activated because I didn't use it. So now I see The Secret by Rhonda Byrne, and I'm like, oh, this law of attraction thing. Now, let me preface this with the law of attraction is about your subconscious. Okay, so whether you're talking about, meditation like Dr. Joe Dispenza, he teaches guided meditation, that's subconscious training. Affirmations. So the 4 pillars are affirmations, meditation, vocalization, and visualization. These are all subconscious training. Okay, so every single one of them. But when you do all 4 at the same time directed towards one thing, it's guaranteed. Okay, you may not get it like you want it. Okay, but you will get it. So Christians always say, well, God will give it to you in God's time, in God's way. Okay, so that's, anyway, but so let's go back to the story. So now I'm watching this DVD and I'm like, wow, this is everything that I learned before. So 60% of it was confirmation, but 40% of it was new information. And I was watching this thing going, whoa, okay. So, but I was watching physicists talking about it. I was watching doctors talking about it. I was watching a reverend talk about it. Like all these people from different walks of life were talking about this, right? Now, I thought that this was some kind of magic thing, right? I did not know at the time when I was watching this that this is all about the subconscious, right? Because there is only the conscious, the subconscious, and superconscious. So I'm watching this DVD, The Secret, right, by Rhonda Byrne, and I'm going, wow, this is incredible. It's a documentary, right? So I'm watching it, and I'm going, wow, this is incredible. I need to remember this. So I put it on loop, right? So for I don't know how many, for like over a month, like it was on loop. So every time I got home from work, put it on. Every time I was in the room, put it on. I fell asleep with it on because I wanted to absorb all the information, so I left it on, right? Now, 2 months later, okay, 2 months, and I dedicated my book to her. I dedicated my book to her, The Universal Law of Attraction and Singing. This is about finding your voice in life. This is not necessarily about singing. It's not about how to sing. It's about the way people change their lives through their voice. Okay, this happened later. Okay, so this was 2007 I'm talking about, right? Before the book. So anyway, right? I start to follow these things, right? So first you need to visualize, you need to see yourself there, you need to see yourself worthy, you need to, you need to do all that stuff, right? And so I'm going, oh, okay. So I start to visualize, right? They say, okay, put your hand on the steering wheel, smell the leather. I'm like that, like, okay, yeah, okay, I can imagine that, right? So I started imagining and stuff like that. And so what happened was that eventually one day I'm driving down the highway, and this is, 4 months later, I'm driving down the highway and I see this car dealership and I go, let's test this theory. So I drive in, and the rest, as they say, is history. I drove out that day with a brand new car. On signature, I had no idea what my credit score was. I had no idea what anything was. I didn't pay attention. In those days, I was just about work, 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 right? So I didn't focus on these things, okay? And I'm here to tell you that you don't need to focus on the little minute details, okay? If you're so focused on that, you're going to move yourself into lack rather than abundance, okay? Because if you trust, I know many people who go, yeah, I believe in God. Yes, I believe in source. Yeah, I believe in, I believe in a higher power. I believe in infinite intelligence, but they live in lack. They live in lack because they don't really trust. So if you're doing all these little things to double check and this and that and, blah, 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 then are you really living in faith? There's a Christian expression. It says we walk in faith and we walk by faith and not by sight. Okay, so if you're really walking by faith, then you just have to know, something's going to happen. Okay, like the best thing is going to happen, or what your target is going to happen. Now, this is subconscious training. Hi, Karen. Oh, really? Okay, let me see. Okay, there we go. There we go. Okay. How's that? Better? That should be better. Okay. Good morning, Karen. Good morning, Jay. Yeah, I got that. Sorry about that. Okay, there we go. All right. Good morning, you guys. Good morning on TikTok. Yeah, we're on 7 networks this morning. So I'm going to I'm gonna continue. So anyway, so I drive into this parking lot, right? Into this car lot, and I drove out with a car like 57,000 on signature, and I'm like, whoa. I'm like, so this is real. And then, of course, it was like, okay, let's test this, let's test that, let's test this. And previous to 2007, I tested prayer. I tested prayer a lot. I'm like, okay, let's see if I can pray for off the wall stuff. Let's see if that'll happen, right? And so it happened, okay? So when you pray, or when you make an intention, or when you wish, you're doing the same thing. You're asking, okay? When you're doing meditation, you're listening. So you have to do both, okay? And meditation is being still. There's an old expression called be still and know. And you have to know like you know, like you know. Okay, and that's what trust is. That's what faith is. And you have to trust. You have to have faith. You have to exercise your faith. If you don't exercise your faith, then what are you doing? You're questioning. And if you're questioning, you're asking questions all the time, okay? Or if you're just asking all the time, then it's just noise. You have to be still. You have to take that vibrational time out, and you have to know, okay? So, anyway, good morning, Mia. So you have to know, okay? And when you know, like you know this is going to happen, it's just a matter of time, right? Now you expect something good. And when you expect something good instead of doubt, okay? Because doubt and fear will cancel everything out. It'll clear everything out. It'll push everything out like that, doubt and fear. Okay? If you're fearing, you're going off of your life path. You're not on your life path. And here's the thing about your life path. When your life path unfolds for you, when there's no doubt and there's no fear, and your life path is unfolding for you, okay? When you start to fear or when you start to doubt, that unfolding slows down. It slows down. Sometimes it stops, okay? Until you stop doubting and until you stop experiencing fear, then it starts to flow again. And this is where you see money come in, money slows down, money stops, okay? What's the natural reaction when money slows down or money stops? Or good things slow down? I'm just using money as an example. What happens? Fear starts to kick in. Doubt starts to kick in. And then what happens? Then you have more of that, okay? More slowdown, more stop. So what's the solution? Well, the solution is to change your mood, to change your vibration, okay? To be happy, to be joyful. It's very difficult to switch mindsets when things aren't going well. But when things aren't going well, that's when you have to take that vibrational time out. Let me give you an example. I always use this example because it's very relevant to just about everybody. Have you ever been on a downward spiral? Okay, a downward spiral, like you get up late, maybe the alarm goes off late. Hi Mia, good morning. Maybe the alarm goes off late and then you rush. And now you're rushing to get ready, and now you rush in the shower and you rush, right? And you rush in the kitchen and you make your coffee and you spill the coffee and you're rushing and you grab everything and you run out of the house. And now you get in your car and now you're rushing, okay? And then what happens? You hit the red lights, okay? So you spilled the coffee, now you hit the red lights. Now you're even later. What is the natural reaction? The natural reaction is for us to hurry, okay? But that's not the solution. The solution is to pause. The solution is to stop. The solution is to, okay, time out, right? Time out. Let's take a time out, okay? You take a time out for 5 minutes and your internal biorhythms reset. And then things start unfolding again, okay? Because if you're rushing, you're throwing your natural rhythm off. If you're rushing, you're not being grateful. So you have to stop to reset, stop to reset, pause to reset, okay? And then you can proceed. So take 5 minutes. That's the solution. You take 5 minutes and then you proceed. And when you proceed now, everything is going to be reset, okay? Because things slow down because of doubt and fear, always, okay? And the manifestation process requires that there be no doubt and no fear. You just have to know like you know. Like you have to expect that something good is just about to happen. So you have to expect that, yeah, it's going to happen. Yeah, something's going to happen. So, during my career, my entertainment career, right, I was always looking, like any little thing that happened, I was always like, wow, is this it? Is this the big break? Is this the big break came in 1999. Before that, it was $5 an hour doing radio, so... but did the big break come? Yeah, but did it look like a big break? No, it didn't look like that at all. It was like, hey, can you sit in? Can you sit in for so-and-so and do a week? I'm like, yeah. Can I bring my guitar? They're like, yeah, let's have some fun. I'm like, yeah. By the third day, it was like the doors were opening. By the third day, it was like, dude, you need to sing for your life, right? By the third day, it was like, wow, this is real. So you never know how your goodness is going to come to you. You never know how your manifestations are going to play out. So for this very reason, the how is always God's job. The how is always God's job. So when I dedicated my book to my ex because it was because of her that all of this happened. Okay, I already had the, that big break, so to speak, whatever, it's all relevant, right? But that big break had already happened. I was looking for the next level. I was looking for the next step. And she said, well, if you want the next step, right? So I dedicated this book to her. So this book is about the human voice and how your voice manifests things, okay? How you can speak things into existence, how you can speak the dream, how the chemistry in your brain through hormonal discharges calms you inside, okay? It calms you. Now, when you're calm, you make better decisions. When you make better decisions, you make better choices. When you make better choices, you get better outcomes. Your whole life changes. This book is about real people and real stories. These are real stories in here, real people. These are actually clients of mine that changed their lives through their voice. Okay? Because once you calm, once you clear, okay, life changes. Life changes. Now, what's the opposite of that? The opposite of that is fear drives people a lot. Okay? Some people are driven through fear in their career because they're afraid that if they stop producing, if they slow down, if they take things step by step, if they don't rush, if they don't push, they're not going to get ahead. That's completely false. That's completely false. Okay? Things unfold for you. Okay? What is meant for you will unfold for you as long as there's no doubt and no fear. Okay? So the calming inside is very important. Okay? Now I'm going to recommend a book to you. I don't get a cut from this book, or I don't get anything from this at all, but this is very important for you. This is The Power of Your Subconscious Mind by Dr. Joseph Murphy. Dr. Murphy was actually one of two pioneers in the field. This is real stuff. Now, for you Christians out there, there's a lot of Bible verses in here. For you people that are not Christians, you can just overlook it, but just know that this is real stuff in here. And you need to reprogram your subconscious. That's all. If you're suffering from fear, anxiety, okay, guilt, shame, overthinking. I get a lot of overthinkers. My clients are professionals, what I call high-powered professionals. They're professionals with a lot of responsibility. They're professionals that are either supervisors or managers or CEOs or high-powered people like attorneys and doctors and that kind of thing. Okay, so these people come to me for calm. They come to me for, getting to base level, which is, and base level needs to be maintained. Why? Because overthinking happens again, right? Fear always comes back. Fear is a natural response. You need fear. It tells you when something is wrong. But when you live fear, when fear is what drives you, when fear is what motivates you, because you're afraid of failing, okay? And I'm here to tell you that failure is a part of success. Okay, failure is necessary for success. I fail about once a week with things. I fail every week, okay? And I make sure that I am failing, because if I'm not failing, I'm not succeeding. Think about it, okay? So you need to fail, okay? You need to try, you need to fail, and you need to repeat the process. Wash, rinse, repeat. Because if the only time you really fail, okay, absolute failure, okay? I'm talking about complete failure. Okay, you can fail a lot with processes. Okay, so you can fail with the process. Okay, try a different process. Same goal, different process. Same goal, different process. Fail, fail, fail. And then pretty soon you hit the process that goes, wow, okay, boom, there it is. I got it, right? Okay, so that's how you need to do it. Because if you just throw in the towel, or let's say you quit, let's say it another way, if you give up after the first failure at something, okay, look at the Wright brothers. They didn't give up. Henry Ford, he didn't give up, right? All these people didn't give up. They kept going until they hit it. They kept going until they hit it. They knew they were going to do it. The Wright brothers knew they were going to fly. Okay, they didn't know how. The how was God's job, right? So they kept trying, and they kept failing. They kept crashing, and they kept, Kitty Hawk was full of people crashing. You see the old black and white reels, okay? But guess what? Today, we fly in a chair, in a jet, in the sky because of it, because of them, because they kept trying, because they didn't give up. So the only time you experience true failure, absolute failure, okay, complete failure, is when you give up, okay? If you don't give up, and if you keep taking baby steps, maybe you have a full-time job, and maybe you're trying to side hustle, and maybe that side hustle isn't really working out, okay? But keep taking the steps. Don't give up. Keep taking the steps. Because if you keep taking the steps, the doors will keep opening. Okay, sometimes the door will open and you'll hit a dead end. And that's what entrepreneurs call pivoting. And that's when you pivot, okay? And this is why you take baby steps. If you take giant steps, it's a big correction. If you take baby steps, it's like, checking to see if the water in the swimming pool is too cold. Oh, okay, not good. Okay, oh, it's okay over here. All right, now we go in this direction. So you're pivoting. So people always ask me, like, okay, uncle, like, how positive do I have to be? All right? And the answer, or the good news, is that you only need to correct your course by 1%. You only need to be 51% positive. Okay? Because if this is a ship and the ship is going straight like this, if you take the rudder and you just correct the rudder a little bit, let's say 1%, now you're going like this. Now your course has changed. Okay? But you only need to be 1% over the line. Sometimes I ask people like, okay, how positive are you? Give me a percentage. How positive are you? And they'll go, oh, at least 60%, 80%, uncle. Yeah, at least 80%. I'm like, yeah, right. Okay, that's superhuman. Okay, we're human beings. Okay, and based upon your subconscious and the percentage that you can change it from your original programming from birth to 7 years old, okay, that's your fundamental paradigm. Okay, now you can only change that by 15 to 20%, but that's huge. That's huge. Okay, think about that 1% positive. That 1% positive that puts you over the line into positivity, that leaves you in positivity, is minimal work. That's 1%. 1%. Now the majority of your life is positive. That's all you need is 1%. Okay? If you're talking about the boat and the rudder scenario, all you need to do is correct that a little, and now you're moving in a different direction. Does this take time? Yeah. So to get from here, when you correct it, to get maybe here, yeah, that takes some time. It does take some time. Okay? But you're taking positive steps. Okay? You're in a new direction. Now, if that doesn't work and you get stuck, what do? Do you give up? No. Change your direction. Go this way now. Okay? And go that way. Okay? Because you're going to find the opening. And the reason why you're going to find the opening is because the how is God's job, not your job. Your job is just to know what and to know why. That's all. You need to know what you're doing. Okay? What you're doing. What do you want to do? What do you want? Okay? And why? Why do you want it? What's the goal? Okay, so you need to have goals. So we can call this manifestation, or we can call it goal setting. Okay, the problem when we call it goal setting is people think it's too much work and they don't want to try, right? You call it manifestation, people think it's magic. People, oh yeah, I'm going to manifest this, manifest that. It's all subconscious. That's all there is. There is only the conscious, subconscious, and superconscious. That's all that exists. The superconscious is God. The superconscious is source. The superconscious is the infinite intelligence. Everything in the universe is intelligent, even the blades of grass. Trees communicate through the roots. Okay. Plants, some plants are so intelligent. Some edible plants are so intelligent they turn poisonous when their species is threatened. And then they propagate, and then they grow, and then there's an abundance, and now they turn back edible. All of these things happen because the universe is intelligent, because God designed everything to be intelligent. Okay, and everything has a vibration. Everything has a vibration. Good morning. Good morning, Mia. I see you. Good morning. So everything has a vibration. Now, like attracts like. The law of attraction says that like attracts like. Okay? The law of attraction says that like-minded people will gather. Okay? Like-mindedness. Okay? So when you meet some people, right, you kind of explore, you kind of ask questions and talk. Okay? In Hawaii, we say talk story. And you kind of talk story to see, like, do they like the same things that I like? And then what do we have in common? We're always looking for commonalities. And when we find the commonalities, we're like, oh, okay. Oh, I like him. I like cars. He likes cars. Oh, we're car people. Okay, there we go, right? We're like this now. We're buddies now. He likes cars. I like cars, Okay, you meet a girl, you know, you like movies? Oh, I love movies. You like comedies? I love comedies. Okay, commonality. There you go. Now you have something in common. Now you have something to share. Now you have something to talk about. Like attracts like. Okay? In our society, we are taught opposites. We are taught opposites. We are taught things backwards and upside down, okay? And when you really understand, when you get it, when you raise your awareness and you see things for what they really are, and you go, oh, that's not what I thought it was. No, it's not. Jordan Maxwell said something very interesting. He said, nothing in the world works the way you think it does. Nothing. Okay? Because what you see and what is are two different things. There's two types of knowledge. There's esoteric knowledge and there's exoteric knowledge. Exoteric, the outer, the outside. Esoteric knowledge, the inside. Okay? Sometimes it's called occult knowledge. It doesn't mean it's a cult, C-U-L-T. No, it's occult. It means hidden. That's all. Okay, so there's the outer or common knowledge, and then there's the inner or inner knowledge. Study esoteric knowledge. Go check it out. Okay? Ask questions. Ask questions. Question everything. But more so than just asking questions, go look it up. Now you have AI. Now you can learn more. Now you have AI. You can ask AI all kinds of questions. It will, you know, there's a lot of things that they have removed from the web. You know, I will say that much. But go check it out. Okay? Be curious. This is a blessing. Okay? You are a blessing. To be a human being is a very high blessing. Don't take it for granted. It's a huge blessing. You could have been, I don't know, a cow, a horse, a dog, a lily pad, a tree. Okay? And who knows where your energy is going to end up next. There's many theories. Okay? Now, when you start to consider that this is a blessing, you have to understand the power you have in this one. Okay, you have to understand the power, the conscious, the subconscious, the superconscious. The subconscious communicates with the superconscious. The conscious mind, the frontal lobe of your brain, it thinks a million thoughts a day. The most predominant thoughts go into your subconscious. That installs your programs. Okay, that's your programming. So like your operating system is your conscious mind. Your hard drive is your subconscious, where the programs get installed. Okay, and from there you build your paradigm or the way you see the world. So let's look at a tree. Those are the roots, the beliefs. Okay, the paradigm is the tree, the body of the tree. Okay, the trunk of the tree, and then way on top, the fruits of the tree are your actions based upon what you believe or how you see the world. Okay, can you change it? Sure. Because when you change the bottom, the roots, you change the trunk. When you change the trunk, you change the fruits. Okay, when you change the fruits or the actions and the habits, guess what? The results change. Because now the results start coming. So I had a very bad attitude in my 20s. Very bad attitude. And that bad attitude went all the way up until my 30s. Oh, till about 28. About 28, I started changing my mind. I started changing slow. It was a slow process, you know. And with my first mentor, it was like, you think you could do a good job tomorrow? Just for one day. Can you do it for one day tomorrow? And I was like, yeah. And the next day, I was like, you think you can do it again today? I'm like, yeah. So, wow, you did a real good job for the last 2 days. You think you can do it tomorrow? And I'm like, yeah. And when I did it the third day, right, I caught on. I'm like, oh, okay, my uncle is having me do it one day at a time. Like, we're doing one day at a time, right? And so, but that's the way it works. It works one day at a time. It works 1 hour at a time sometimes. Okay, if you want to break the addiction, if you want to break the subconscious programming, okay, you have to install new programming. It takes time. Okay, you start with the first hour. Okay, like, I wonder if I can not be angry for 1 hour. Okay, let's try. Right? You see things that irritate you all the time. Okay, let's see if you can go without irritation for 1 hour. Okay, if you can do it for 1 hour, can you do it for 2? Can you do it for 6? Can you do it for 24? Can you do it for a day? Can you do it, so with me, it was the first day. And then it was the third day. Those 3 days turned into a week. That turned into a month. That turned into a year. That turned into, you see, it's like that. Okay. But that's how it goes. That's how it's done. That's how it works. So when you're embarking on this new journey, that new word, that new AI word, embark, whenever you see embark, okay, that's AI, right? But whenever you start this journey, whenever you begin this journey, the new you, whenever you get tired of the results that you have, whenever you get tired of the same old, you can change it. And all you need is one of these. This is all you need to start the journey. Okay? I am so happy and grateful now that, what's the different program? Write it down. Now that I have the new job, or now that I have new friends, or now that I have friends that like whatever, right? Cars. I like friends that like soccer. I now that I have friends that like football, whatever. Write it down. Write it down. Design your life. You can design your life. I design my life. Okay? In my life, I don't work hard. In my life, I work long. Okay? So you have a choice. You can work hard, you can struggle, or you can live more easily, with ease. Okay? When you're living in dis-ease, okay, that's not good. That will make you sick. Okay? That means you're like this. You're like this. Okay? Dis-ease is like this. Okay? This is holding yourself back. Okay? This is being closed off. This is hiding. Okay? It's not being open. It's not open. So first comes relaxation. You have to relax it. Okay? Then you start to open. Then you start to open, and boom. And the way we open people is through their voices. Okay? I'm going to put up a sample. I'm going to film a sample of one of my clients this week, and I'm going to put it up for you guys pretty soon. So you'll see what's involved, and then you can do it too. Okay? I'm not here to sell you anything. I'm not here to get clients. I'm not here to do any of that. I have clients. I'm here so that you understand that you can change things. And it's very simple. It's not complicated at all. I didn't work hard at it. Okay? I worked long at it. Yeah, long. Like I have this video on TikTok, and it's 10 years of affirmations. It's been way more than 10 years now, but that was a long time ago. I even have orange hair in the video. So that was quite some time ago. But anyway, it's not hard. It's not hard. But then there's self-discipline involved, right? And that discipline is like a dirty word, right? It's like a dirty word. It's like, what? I have to be disciplined? Discipline just means that you have to do it faithfully. But you have to be faithful to you. You have to be faithful with this, okay? It's exercising faith. We walk not by sight, but by faith, okay? And when you can walk by faith, that just means you have faith in yourself. You have to develop faith in yourself, okay? I know a lot of people that say they have faith in God, but they have no faith in themselves. Having faith in yourself is the highest compliment to God. It's the highest compliment, okay? A lot of people go to church every Sunday. They go to church, they go to temple, they do whatever they do, right? They exercise their worship, okay? They do their worship, but they have no faith in themselves. They have no self-confidence. They don't believe in this one. They believe in that one. They think God is up there, okay? They believe in that, okay? Because in a lot of situations, religion has removed, right? Removed God and put God up there, okay? Because you'll see everybody reaching up to the sky. You'll see everybody directing their attention up there somewhere. No, God is in here. Jesus Christ taught us the kingdom is within. And it wasn't just Jesus that said this. This is in the Bhagavad Gita. This is in the Quran. This is in the Talmud. God is in here. The magic comes from here. Not magic like, magic show. Not that kind of magic. But the splendor, the miracle is in here. If you want to look at a miracle, go look in the mirror. You'll see the miracle in the mirror. Okay? Because that's a miracle. God lives in here. Your power is in here. Okay? When you exercise this one, when you use this, I am so happy and grateful now that, what? I am a good mother. I am so happy and grateful now that I'm a good brother. I am so happy and grateful now that I'm a good sister. You want a better relationship? I am so happy and grateful now that I have a great relationship. Thank you. There you go. That's your affirmation. Okay? But once you install this program, you begin to believe it. Once you start to believe it, right? A belief is a thought you keep thinking. You need to keep thinking the thought. That's why you need to write it. That's why you need to speak it. That's why if you can write it and you can speak it and you can visualize it and you can meditate on it, you can live it. You can live it. But you need to get started. Hey, Black Reaper. Okay. How you guys doing? So you have to apply a certain amount of consistency is what I'm saying. If you can be consistent, in other words, if you can do this every day, okay, and I'll show you, it's not difficult. You know, this self-discipline thing sounds like a lot of work. It's not that much work. It's less than 15 minutes a day. But you see, I have these things dated. See, they're all dated, right? Okay. And yeah, sometimes it's a half page, sometimes it's a full page, whatever. And then I flip and go to the next page. This, you see, like that, like this is quite a while, but it's just a few seconds a day. You write it in the morning, you speak it out loud at night. How much effort can that take? But people are distracted. People are not necessarily lazy, okay? There's a lot of hardworking people out there, okay? But they don't think about this. There's a lot of hardworking people out there, but they don't conceptualize the power that's in here. There's a lot of people out there that work very, very hard, okay, and struggle. And they struggle. The struggle is here. The prison is here. This is where the struggle is. This is where the thoughts repeat, okay? You know those negative thoughts, those bad thoughts, those fearful thoughts, right? Those thoughts, okay? They reoccur in the subconscious. So every negative thoughts become a habit. You start thinking negative. It becomes a habit. You start reacting negative, reacting, okay? You react. Your subconscious goes, oh, we're reacting. Okay, that's what we're doing. Okay. And your subconscious keeps going. And this is where the living hell begins. It begins in your subconscious and you are tormented and tormented. In the Bible, if you read the book of Job, you'll understand that they're talking about the subconscious. Okay, there's so many verses about the law of attraction in the Bible. And this is not necessarily about the law of attraction. This is about your subconscious. Okay, but this is about your subconscious. Once you train your subconscious for something better, anything better, whatever is better for you, only you know what better is. Because if you know what you don't want, you know what you do want. If you know what you do want, write it, think it, speak it. And keep writing it and keep thinking it and keep speaking it until it shows up in your world, because it will. Because every action has a consequence. Okay, consequences have a negative connotation to that. That word has a negative connotation. But you can have positive or negative consequences. Okay, results. Every action creates a result. Now, if your actions are better, your results are better. Okay, if your reactions are negative, it's very difficult to live on both sides of the street. It's very difficult to speak negativity, to act out negativity, and then to have a positive life. It's very different. It's very difficult, okay? So when you're starting to do your affirmations, you're going to notice you get happier in here. When you start to use your voice and speak the dream and speak your affirmations, you're going to notice you get happier in here. When you pray and you meditate, you're going to be happier in here, okay? So you know how they say you give your burdens to God, right? You can let God handle your burdens. Okay? There's a deeper meaning to that. There's a deeper meaning to that. If you want to read, if, I know this is Sunday. I know there's a lot of Christians on my page. Okay? If you guys want to read about it, try Mark 11:24. Therefore, I tell you, whatever you ask for in prayer and believe that you have received it, it will be yours. Guarantee. Guarantee. Now, how do you believe something? How do you believe something's going to happen? You have to put yourself in the right mindset. You have to develop your mind. If you ask your mind a question, it's obligated to answer you. Okay, when you ask your subconscious a question, it's obligated to answer you. You will find the answers. The subconscious communicates with the superconscious. And that's where you get inspired thought. You need to act on inspired thought. None of this is evil. None of this is whatever, voodoo or witchcraft or anything like that. None of it. It's conscious, subconscious, superconscious. That's all there is. It's all in here. It's all in you. And it works without question. Your subconscious does not know reality from fantasy. It does not know. It does not judge. It does not know right from wrong. It does not know these things. It only knows what you tell it. Okay? So if you pronounce things upon yourself, okay, we can say it another way. If you're wishing yourself wrong or wishing yourself bad by saying things to someone else, you're saying things to someone else that's negative. Your subconscious is listening to you, and your subconscious thinks that you're talking to yourself or you're talking to it. It can't differentiate that. It doesn't know if you're talking to yourself or if you're talking to somebody else. You call somebody a dummy, your subconscious thinks you're calling yourself a dummy. It cannot distinguish that. It doesn't know. Okay? Now here's another hack for you. Always be careful of what you put next to the letter I. Okay? So I am is a complete sentence. I am is existence. I am is the name of the divine. Now when you use, I am in an abbreviated form, it's I'm. Okay? Same meaning, same thing, right? You know me, I'm not so smart. You know me, I'm clumsy. You know me, I'm careless. You know me, I'm this, I'm that, right? Okay, now you're committing like a huge sin, okay? Or a huge disservice to yourself. Why? Because now you're insulting the creation. You are the creation. You were created in the image of God, in the image of Source, in the image of infinite intelligence. And now you're insulting that. So to take care of this one, or to, let's say it another way, to speak well of this one, or not say anything bad about this one, is the highest compliment to the divine, or to God, or to infinite intelligence, whatever you want to call it, the superconscious. Because now, right, at least you're not putting it down if you're neutral, right? Now, if you refrain from saying these things, if you refrain from attacking yourself, basically, okay? If you refrain from that, if you're very careful of what you put next to the word I, okay? You can say, I don't want to do this. You can say, I don't want to do that. But if you say, I can't do this, I can't do math, I can't do science, I'm not good at this. I'm not good at mechanics. I don't understand this. I don't understand that. Okay, now you're insulting the creation. Think about it. Think about it. How do you refrain from this? Well, first of all, just stop. First of all, just fight the urge to do it. Okay? Because humility is not thinking less of yourself. Humility is thinking of yourself less and putting others first. Okay? But we've been taught plantation mentality. Okay? Especially my peeps in Hawaii. Okay? They know this. We had plantations here in Hawaii. Now, plantation mentality or clan mentality suggests that we only do what's good for the plantation. We only do what's best for the clan. And humility is like, the old children are to be seen and not heard. Okay? In other words, you're there, but you're not there. You're there, but you're quiet. You're there, but you're silent. You're there. Okay? But that's about it. So humility is not thinking less of yourself. Humility is not putting yourself down. But we've been taught that. Nobody tells us, right? Nobody tells us openly. They don't tell us openly, oh, well, you have to put yourself down and that's the way to live. They don't say that. No. But we get that because we see others do it, right? These are generational things that are being handed down. These are things we need to break free of. But only you can break free of it for you. You're the only one that can do it. So how do you do this? First of all, just catch yourself. First of all, just refrain. First of all, just say, oh, okay, I almost did it, you know? Or here's another solution. And this is the way I learned it, okay? When you say something like that, when you do something like that, or when you speak, you know, let's say you say something like, oh, you know, Bob, he's not too smart. Follow it up with something positive, because the last thing you say is the first thing your subconscious remembers. Yeah, you know, Bob, he's not too smart, but yeah, he's been my friend for like 20 years. I love that guy though, you know? So you follow it up with something positive. So when you say something negative about someone, your subconscious doesn't know, okay? It thinks you're talking about you, okay? So these words resonate with your subconscious, okay? And it develops complexes, okay? So be careful, right? But you can follow it up with something positive. But oh, you know, but yeah, he's a good friend. I love him, you know, or whatever it is, you know. So that's important to do, okay? Or just catch yourself and go, oop, stop, oop, right? Now, there's two things you can do for this. You can say the word stop, or you can say the word no. You know, like when you're training the dog, right? And you're training a dog not to jump or something, right? And you go, no, no, right? You're telling the dog, okay? Tell yourself, just go, nope, not gonna say that. Nope, not gonna do that. You know, say stop, stop. You can say it out loud first when you're getting used to the process by yourself, away from people, right? Do it by yourself. Stop, no, okay? Pretty soon, you're going to be able to think the word stop and you'll stop. This works for addiction. This works for, you know, bad habits, okay? And what we're really talking about are bad habits that don't serve you, okay? You need to allow those habits to go. You need to allow those habits away, okay? It's not something that you force, because what you focus on intensifies, and you don't want to focus on it. You don't want to focus on, oh, I have a problem, okay? Because then you're going to have more problems, right? But you allow, you release. And that's where forgiveness comes in. We talked about that the other day, forgiveness. Because when you forgive for you. So you can release, so you can let go. Because otherwise, what are you doing? When you hold something against somebody, when you're holding grudges, when you're holding something against someone, right? You're marrying intention with emotion. And what is that? That's the formula for manifestation. And what are you manifesting? You see? Yeah. You're manifesting bad stuff for your subconscious. Okay, so when you hang on to something, right? I told you Lao Tzu's quote, right? Hanging on to a burning hot coal, thinking somebody else is going to get burned, is what anger is. Anger is like holding on to that hot coal, thinking like somebody else is going to feel it. But no, you're the one getting burned. So you got to let go. You got to forgive, let go. Okay, life is about letting go. Life is a series of letting go. First, we go to elementary school, right? Then we let go. Then we go to intermediate school. Then we let go. Then we go to high school. Then we let go. And we have key celebrations at every stage of these things, okay? When we're in intermediate, right? Oh, we're going to go high school next year. Okay, let's celebrate. Let's have a graduation. All right, there we go. Now we're into high school. Okay, now high school's over. Oh, let's have a graduation. Let's celebrate. We made it, right? Okay, you're done with that. And then what? Then college. Oh, yeah, then college is over, you know. And it goes like this. It goes like that. You know, before you know it, you're adulting. Before you know it, you're out in the world. Okay, so then what? Well, then you let go of jobs. Then you let go of relationships. And pretty soon, you let go of the world. Life is a series of letting go. So why not be good at it? Why not be good at letting go? Why not be good at releasing? Why not be good at freeing yourself from things instead of hanging on? You know, when you hang on, it does more damage to you. When you hang on, it's like, there's a runaway horse and you're holding on to the rope and he's dragging you on the ground and you keep holding on. Okay, that's not good. That's hurting you. It's hurting. Just release. Just let go. Okay. With people that don't serve me in my life, I've had to let go of family. I've had to let go of a lot of people just because it had to be done. It's not about being ugly or evil or bad or wrong, or it's not about that. It's about, look, this thing ain't working. This thing is like this. This is a struggle, right? And the struggle is here. So to free yourself here, what do? Forgive, let go. Forgive, release. Forgive. And your karma will clear. Okay? Lao Tzu said, muddy water, let's sit, will clear. Okay? So if you let the muddy water be still and you don't agitate, right? There's no more mud in the water, it will clear. Lao Tzu said that. He was the founder of Taoism. Okay? So there's that. Okay? Do we have any questions? Do you guys want to ask questions? And so we're on 7 platforms right now, worldwide. I can't name them all, but if I did, you would be familiar. Because our TikTok algorithm is very sensitive, so we can't mention all these kinds of things. But I will tell you, okay, that there's a reason why they say forgiveness is divine. It is divine. And divine is in here. Divine is inside. Divine is in you. Divine is in me. Okay? The word namaste, okay, means the divinity in me salutes the divinity in you. There's many terms for this. Okay? If you want to learn more about forgiveness, go look it up. Look at the process. There's a process of forgiveness. Okay? In Hawaii, we have ho'oponopono. I'm sorry. Please forgive me. Thank you. I love you. Release. Let go. I'm sorry. Please forgive me. Thank you. I love you. You're saying it to yourself and the Creator at the same time. Whoever you believe, whatever you believe, but you're doing that. You're releasing everything. And you have to release it. Because why? Because if you hang on to it, you're going to get sick. It can make you sick. Okay? And you don't want that. That's the negative karma. Okay? When you speak against someone, or you speak, right? Like that, your subconscious takes it like you're speaking to yourself. So you have to let go. You have to forgive. Leo, good morning. Good morning, Leo. So yeah, so it's very important. That's very important. Okay? But when I started out on this journey, and this journey was, sort of accidental in a way, but like I said earlier, 60% was confirmation, 40% was new information. Okay? But all of these things are relevant to the human being. All of these things are relevant. It's not just about success. It's about stopping the pain. It's not about acquiring riches, although, yeah, you can do that too. Well, you can get stuff and have more stuff and more stuff, and pretty soon you got to sell stuff and give away stuff because it's just stuff, right? But what about you? What about your suffering? What about your anxiety, fear, guilt, shame, overthinking? What about all of that? That's the prison. The prison is here. That's the torment. That's living in hell. When that keeps repeating in a negative cycle, you're living in hell. So what about that? Why not work on that first? Because when you clear that, everything unfolds naturally. Your life path just unfolds. Everything that was meant for you starts to become. It starts to be. It starts to exist. It comes into your world. Everything comes into our world through others, from God through others, from the Creator through others. Okay, or let's say it another way, from your subconscious and the superconscious through others. Okay, so it's not like you're gonna, write affirmations and then the car is gonna pop in the driveway tomorrow and, oh wow, new car, I did magic, I manifested that. No, manifestation is through your subconscious. Okay, that's how it works. So you gotta do this one, you gotta do this, and you gotta do it regularly. You gotta do it every morning. Speak it out loud every night. Do your meditation. Okay, do your Ho'oponopono. I'm sorry, please forgive me, thank you, I love you. Free yourself. There's so many people. We have a huge mental health crisis. A huge mental health crisis. Why? Because everybody's in here. The torment is here. The prison is here. Everybody's in prison. All I'm doing is jailbreaking. That's all I'm doing. I'm not here trying to sell you anything. You don't have to go to my website. If you want to go, it's hereforyoulifecoaching.com, but you don't have to go. Okay? I'm not here to push sales on you or anything like that. I'm here to give you value. I'm here to give you insight. I'm here to inspire you to free yourself. Okay? A lot of people don't know that there's something else. A lot of people are so caught up in their subconscious, the same old programs running the same old. So they take, Dr. Joe Dispenza, I'm going to give him credit for this. He says, you take all the worry from yesterday. When you wake up this morning, you start thinking about it. Now you brought it into today. You take it from today. Tomorrow you wake up, you bring it into tomorrow because you're still thinking about it. And then the next day, the next day, the next day. And what happens? You live this same life over and over and over because you don't free yourself. And one day you run out of life and one day you're gone. And what have you done? You have lived the same life over and over and over and over and over. The prison is here. Okay? Some people never get out of prison. Some people just stay in the same mindset all the time. And you know these people, right? Now, other people look at them and go, wow, he's toxic. She's toxic. Spread the good news. If you know somebody that's toxic, give them the solution. Okay? Have them read this book. Get this book. Send this book to them so they understand that this is a mindset, that everything is mindset, that you can free yourself from here. Okay? And it starts with this. There's a reason why the pen is mightier than the sword. They say that, right? The pen is mightier than the sword. Can you kill somebody with this? Yeah, probably. Do you want to? Probably not. But this is freedom. This is liberation. And all you need to do is spend a few minutes a day, okay? Seconds to write the affirmation, okay? And then you spend 10 minutes being still. Just close your eyes and be still for 10 minutes. It sounds like it's easy to do. It's a challenge when you first do that because we live in a stimulus-based society, right? Everything is stimulus, stimulus, stimulus. That's why all our children are having ADHD, right? Too much stimulus, no outlet, right? They're being raised on their pads. They're being raised on their phones. They're like this all day long, all day long, all day long. Stimulus, dopamine hits all day long, all day long. Okay, I have teenagers that I work with, okay, that I have to channel into more positive things because your time is your life. And when you're wasting your time, or let's say when you're doing something that's not being productive, or when you're doing something that's just consuming your time, you're scrolling, you're being entertained, right? And then pretty soon it's like, oh, wow, 2 hours went by? Wow, that was fast. You see, you're wasting your life. Your time is your life. You could be helping someone with your time. You could be dedicating your time to someone else to help someone else. You could be being productive with your time. You could be making money with your time. You could be doing other things with your time. You could be enjoying your life with your time. But no, you're being distracted like this. Okay? This is very dangerous for children to be in this position because in their formative years, they're on here looking at nonsense, being entertained. It's almost as if they're in suspended animation. Okay? Because it's wasting their lives. It's draining them of their lives. So, think about it, okay? The prison is here. Okay, I'm going to show you the book one more time. Here Yeah, the power of your, I don't get anything for the sale of the book or anything like that. I'm just trying to help you. I'm trying to bring value to your life. The Power of Your Subconscious Mind, Dr. Joseph Murphy. Now, if you want my book, I will give you this book absolutely free if you write to me. Okay? I gave away copies yesterday from the live. Okay? If you write to me, it's junior@hereforyoulifecoaching.com. Junior@hereforyoulifecoaching.com. I'll put it on the post as soon as we're done. When the video posts, I'll put it on there. But if you write to me and say, hey, Junior, send me the book, I will send you the book absolutely free. It's a PDF copy. I'm not going to mail you a physical book, but it's a PDF copy, but it will give you insight because it tells the story of people that changed their lives through their voices. Okay? Through their voices. If you go to the website, hereforyoulifecoaching.com, click on the Science of Confidence. It's a science. It's scientific. It's exact. It works on every human being. Okay. So, thank you, TikTok. Thank you, Bejeweled by Bianca. Thank you, what is that? Mwanga's Parlor. Okay. Thank you, Jay, for moderating. Thank you so much. All right. Thank you guys for being here. We're going to say goodbye to our international audience right now. Yeah. Take care, you guys. Okay. Aloha from Hawaii. All right. Hey, you guys on Facebook. So, yeah, it's hereforyoulifecoaching.com, or you can write to me for the book, junior@hereforyoulifecoaching.com. If I can help you, let you know. Let me know. If I can help you, let me know. So, yeah, I'll see you guys. Take care. Aloha.